I think it's recording. Yeah, okay. So hello. I'm gonna be talking kind of about my InThePipes game, kind of the development process as a whole during the semester, and just kind of everything that encompasses what I kind of did this whole time. So I'll start kind of with my original three ideas. At the very beginning of the semester, I'll pull up kind of my whiteboard that I worked with. So basically, these were kind of the five ideas that I had. So I had as you can see, the spider one is the kind of the one that I ended up going with. So my top three were actually these three right here. So the first one was working in the pool. So it would kind of be like a stationary game where you're kind of handling orders of customers while they're kind of lounging at the pool in front of you situation. The second one was kind of a vertical scroller, kind of along the lines of Doodle Jump, but basically it would be kind of off of the theme of this one video that went viral a few years ago, where it's kind of just you're in a stadium and you're basically trying to get this hat to the top of the stadium. So kind of like like a doodle jump kind of genre. And the third one being this like 2D side scroller, which is the one I ended up going with, was kind of modeled off of the Jetpack Joyride kind of mobile game. When I was coming up with these ideas, I really wanted to stay on kind of like the mobile game kind of theme. I thought that was a really good scope for the semester, and I thought that was something that I could kind of get behind and I could get excited about. I was a um, very big on mobile gaming when I was a kid, obviously, as a lot of us are. And so that was kind of how I got my idea for that. Um, Once I kind of decided on this one, I knew again it would be a 2D side scroller, and I knew that I wanted kind of my unique mechanic in the game to be that swinging motion. So I kind of modeled it off of this mobile game here where you're kind of a stick man. There's a few kind of versions online. But I wanted it to be like you're a spider because that gave me the ability to kind of create a story behind what the game was going to be. So once I kind of decided on that, I really wanted to map out exactly what it is I needed in the game, and I wanted that so that I could really plan out my milestones correctly, and kind of my sprints in general. So this is kind of a roadmap that I made early on in the semester, and you can kind of see the sprints along the top. And then you can see also, I kind of grouped the mechanics into different genres as well. So you can kind of see stuff that involves the character, stuff that involves level design, stuff that involves kind of UI interface screens. And then you can see sound, music, and then kind of art. My big idea here when I was kind of mapping all this out was I wanted to get all the mechanics done first. As you can see down here, all the sounds, music, art are kind of left to the end. I knew that my kind of strength was going to be the programming, it was going to be the mechanics, so that's why I decided to leave the art and the sounds to the end because I didn't want to spend too much time on them because I knew I would if I allowed myself to. So I really tried to focus on the level design, the UI, the character mechanics, throughout the beginning to like a, a fair amount of the semester, basically. Um, we also made some in the 10 pager that we made. So this is kind of just a different format of how I kind of looked at my different milestones. My main kind of goal here was really just to list out every possible thing that I might need. And then I would add to it as I kind of went throughout the semester as I made progress. But this is basically kind of what my goal was in the beginning, what I kind of wanted to accomplish. So as you can see, there's some characters, you'll see these in the build, kind of my character movement. Some of these I decided not to kind of carry out. I kind of made modifications as I went. But for the most part, everything kind of stayed the same and I was able to accomplish most of these things. So yeah, in terms of what was completed, like I said, I think I was able to pretty much do the majority of what I had expected. There were some mechanics that once I began kind of the implementation of it, I realized that there was a better way of doing it, or there was maybe something that would seem a little bit more interesting to the player, and so I would modify it as I kind of went. But for the most part, I think the general idea I had in the beginning of the semester, I really think I was able to kind of accomplish by the end of the semester. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get into the actual build. Here we go. Okay, hopefully you can hear my sound as well. Okay, so kind of going along the same guidelines of, actually, I'll explain to you really quick the story kind of behind this game. It's basically, again, you're a spider. Actually, let's just start the build. We can kind of see it as the story kind of tells it. Okay, so you can click on how to play. You can kind of see there the leaderboard, which we'll go back to. Obviously, there's 0 points because nobody's played the game yet. But you hit play, and you're kind of put into this comic book kind of like scene. So I'll kind of just read through the story. So it's a typical Sunday morning for Sam the spider. That's you. And what better way to enjoy the day than to relax in his comfy spider loft? For years, Sam has been living in his dream home. This place has everything he could ever want: high ceilings, natural lighting, enough space to practice his dance moves even. Looks like Sam could really do anything today. He's got the whole day open. It's kind of perfect life for a spider, as you might say. And then wait a minute, do you hear that rumbling sound? I wonder what that could be. Uh-oh, looks like the pipe Sam chose for his home isn't going to be so comfy and cozy anymore. That water is definitely rushing towards him. Before he knows it, Sam's loft is absolutely flooded with water, and try as he might, he can't stop himself from just getting flushed away. Down the pipes he goes, there he is. Plop, you're plopped out. Poor little guy, Sam can't even think straight. Looks like he's been washed into the sewer lines. He better watch out. I hear most people don't make it out of there. So now you're kind of prompted into the actual gameplay level. You can enter your name, press enter. You can move the A and B keys. So let's make it active before the water catches up to us. We can use space to jump. Here it tells you left click to aim your web on the ceiling surface. Kind of left click while I'm into the ceiling. I think we did that. Let's avoid falling down. There it says. You can kind of see, you can collect some coins. Up here, you'll see your score goes up with the coins. So right now it went up to 70. You're on level 1. Your username that I entered is up here in the top left. My lives are up there in the top right as well. And then here's some of our enemies. This is the rat. So you can see he'll kind of come after me. If I go this way, he'll kind of come after me a little bit. And then if I run into him, kind of lose a life there. Same thing with the snake. Yeah, kind of is just one of the loose scenes. You can kind of see that they're coming from a picture. That's what's me. You can see kind of my score, my username, and then the leaderboard here. You can see that it's updated with my score there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just so that you guys can see the different losses, I'll pull up my editor really quick. And I have some kind of test buttons here so that we don't have to wait too long while let's see. You can see if I lose by snake, this is kind of what comes up. If I lose by croc, I'm kind of in there with them in a wild crocodile, a long, long while. We did the bat one, so let's do the rat one. Looks like the rats are taking you as one of their own. Good luck getting home now. And then we can fall down a pit. We were supposed to avoid the pits, not jump in them. Same kind of scenario, and then if we win, right now there's only 2 levels, so if we win both levels, it'll send you to this kind of new comic strip scene. Looks like Sam has found a pipe that might be the way out. Let's see where it leads. A great letter opening. Yes, finally we're back at the surface. And then it looks like we might have found a new home. Sam, you should maybe go and train yourself, bud. And then, nicely done, Sam. Enjoy the company. Who knows, this might end up being a better home than the loft. And then, again, the leaderboard's updated there. So, that's kind of the entirety of my game so far. A little bit of reflection. I know I took a little bit of time going over that. What went well overall, the kind of development, I think that the game went pretty well, pretty smoothly for me. Of course, there were like some adjustments that I had to make inevitably, or there were some functions or mechanics that I kind of had to push off to a further sprint. But I think overall, I did a pretty good job of staying on track and kind of with my original kind of sprint plan and kind of timeline. In terms of what kind of helped with this, I really tried to emphasize just staying organized and going back and refactoring my code and making sure that after I made a mess to try to get my mechanic to work, I would go back and try to clean it up, especially with like blocks of code that I had commented, uncommented, commented again. I really emphasized trying to go back and kind of clean all of that up as quickly as I could. And I think this really, really helped in terms of implementing even more features, because there were some that were actually super easy to implement because I kind of already had that foundation laid out before it, and I had it laid out in a way where I could go back, understand it pretty quickly, and then just add a few other functions that kind of hooked into it. But yeah, that basically I would say everything went pretty well. There were a few bugs. Well, yeah, again, so challenges. There were a few bugs that Unity kind of threw at me, and I had to kind of research a lot about them, but it turns out that some of them were just issues with the actual version of Unity, so there was nothing really I could do about it. I kind of just had to get done what I could with the issues that it was giving me. But I mean, now it doesn't give me many issues. It still warns me about a memory leak, but it hasn't really been an issue because it's not a compiler error. It really just is like a warning. But again, that's something that I found to be a part of the actual version of Unity, not something with my code. And then staying organized, I would say super helpful, but also super challenging. It was very, very difficult to make myself go back and read through my, uncommented, commented lines over and over again and try to really get things organized and trying to re-understand them again. But I think it's definitely the best thing that I did this whole semester. And then other than that, there were some issues that I had with player movement here and there. It kind of kept coming up as a consistent issue, and then until I finally was able to solve it, it had to do with when my script was listening for player input, because there's a lot of conditions that it considers. It considers like, have we touched the ground yet? Are we in the wave? Are we swinging? Things like that, like what state are we in? And so I really had to iron all of that out. But as of the last 2 sprints, I haven't really had any issues. So I'm hoping that I really did, get to the root of the error. In terms of what I would do differently, I would say still stay organized. I think that's the one thing that I would really, really, really emphasize going forward. I don't know that I would do anything too differently other than like try to work on it a little bit more, but I think I'm really proud with what I did and how I kind of organized my things. So yeah, and then in terms of future editions and ideas, I have a lot of things that I kind of want to implement in the future, or ideas that I want to change about the game. one possible one is like allowing the spider to kind of attack back, because right now you kind of just have to avoid the enemies. So you're a spider, so obviously it could be like a web shoot thing. You could also maybe like pick up weapons on your way through the sewer, and kind of like have a strength bar depending on what weapon it is, and then like a health bar in terms of like how many hits you can get with it, sort of situation. There's one section where there's a little bit of duplicated code where I just didn't have time to really go back into it. It's not too much duplicated code, it's like 2 functions or something like that, but I still would want to get that taken care of. Better art and sounds for sure. I drew all of the menu art, but everything in the level is actually just online assets that I either bought or were free. So I would want that to be more consistent as a whole. So I would love, love, love to work with some sort of artist, because I, try as I might, am not the best. And then just overall kind of polishing of the collisions between the player and the enemy. So right now, sometimes if you hit an enemy at just the right angle and just the right speed, it'll send you flying into like oblivion, or it'll send the enemy flying. And so this is something I have to maybe fix in the future. I have a few ideas in terms of like colliding versus triggers, but overall that just has to be fixed. But yeah, I hope I didn't go over. But that is pretty much it. All of my information is that's relevant is like in the 10-pager document, and that's linked in the readme of the submission. So I hope all of that helps. Everything is linked in the 10-pager, by the way, like all of my sprints, my references, everything. But yeah.